You ever get that feeling like everyone around you is living this big, exciting life full of twists and turns, and you're just, well, you. I think we all search for that thing that makes us unique, that story we're meant to tell.
Right.
And that's what's so intriguing about these excerpts you've shared from Savi Sharma's Everyone Has a Story. It's like taking a peek into the souls of these characters, each searching for their place in the world.
And what's striking is how Sharma sets the stage.
Yeah.
Meera, our aspiring writer, is surrounded by storytellers at Coffee and Us.
Yeah.
It's almost like the cafe itself becomes this character, echoing Meera's yearning to uncover what makes a life a story truly captivating.
It's like those moments when you're people watching at a cafe and you can't help but wonder, what's their story?
Right.
We only see a snapshot, a fragment of their lives. Take Kabir, the cafe owner. On the surface, he's all warmth and welcome, that comforting presence behind the counter. But then Sharma pulls back the curtain.
And we discover Kabir's journey is one of incredible resilience.
Wow.
He's gone from struggling immigrant to this anchor of the community.
That's amazing.
It makes you think, how often do we misjudge someone based on first impressions? How many untold stories of strength and perseverance are hidden in plain sight?
It's like that saying, right? Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. And maybe that's part of Meera's journey, too, learning to look beyond the surface.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of hidden depths, we have Vivaan.
Oh, he's
Successful, driven, yet there's this undeniable guardedness about him, a reluctance to share his story.
Yeah, you can feel that.
It's in those silences, those carefully constructed walls, that we sense the depth of his pain.
And when he finally opens up about Radha, his past love, we're not talking about a punch to the gut. You can't help but feel the weight of his grief, the rawness of his loss.
It's in those moments of vulnerability that Sharma truly shines a light on the human experience. Vivaan's pain, his struggle to reconcile with the past, isn't just his story. It speaks to that universal ache of loss, that longing for healing that we all grapple with in our own ways.
And maybe that's why he's so drawn to Meera's writing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like he recognizes a kindred spirit, someone who understands the power of stories to heal, to connect, to make sense of the chaos.
Exactly. It's through sharing our stories, even the painful ones, that we forge those essential human connections. It allows others to see us, to understand us, and perhaps to find solace in this shared experience.
So we have Meera, our observer, seeking her voice. We have Kabir, our pillar of strength, built on a foundation of resilience.
Yes.
And then there's Vivaan, battling his demons, seeking solace in shared stories.
Right.
3 seemingly different paths, yet Sharma masterfully begins to weave them together, highlighting the interconnected nature of our lives.
And it's this interconnectedness, this delicate dance between individual stories and shared experiences that Sharma uses to explore the profound power of empathy.
Okay.
Meera's journey as a writer becomes a journey of understanding, not just her characters' stories, but her own. And it's fascinating how Sharma uses the act of storytelling itself as a catalyst for this empathy. Remember, Meera begins feeling lost, unsure of what story to tell. But as she delves into the lives of those around her, she stumbles upon a profound realization.
It's like she figures out that everyone, even the seemingly ordinary, has a story worth telling. And by truly listening to those stories, by stepping into the shoes of others, she unlocks a deeper understanding not just of them, but of herself.
Precisely. Take the moment when Vivaan finally opens up about Radha, about that ritual she had of arriving early just to save her a few moments of solitude. It's such a small detail, yet it speaks volumes about her character, about the depth of Vivaan's love for her, and ultimately the profound impact of her loss.
It's heartbreaking, and it reminds you that grief manifests in so many ways. For Vivaan, it's the silence, the guarded heart. It makes you wonder, what if he'd never met Meera? Would he have ever shared that part of himself, that raw vulnerability?
It's a question that lingers, isn't it? It speaks to the transformative power of connection, of finding that one person who creates a safe space for us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities.
And it's not just Vivaan. Even Kabir, with his sunny disposition and infectious laugh, reveals a hidden vulnerability. It takes Vivaan's gentle prodding for him to share his own story of hardship, of overcoming adversity.
And in that sharing, we see the power of vulnerability to forge unexpected bonds. 2 men seemingly worlds apart find common ground in their shared experience of resilience, of overcoming life's inevitable curveballs.
And speaking of unexpected connections, can we talk about Nisha, Kabir's wife? To think their entire love story hinges on a chance encounter at that very same cafe.
Right.
She's at her lowest point, ready to give up on love, and then Kabir offers her a simple act of kindness, a cold coffee. It's amazing how such a small gesture can change the course of someone's life.
It's a beautiful testament to the ripple effect of our actions, to the profound impact we have on others, even in the most fleeting of encounters. Kabir's compassion, his willingness to see beyond Nisha's pain, opens her heart to the possibility of love again.
And the fact that he proposes right then and there, talk about a bold move. It gives me chills just
Right.
thinking about it.
It speaks to the power of empathy, to spark action, to push us beyond our comfort zones. Kabir's proposal wasn't just about Nisha, it was about choosing hope, choosing love even in the face of uncertainty.
It's like he found his purpose, his own unique story, in that act of reaching out to another soul in need. It makes you reflect on your own life, right? Those moments when a stranger's kindness, a simple gesture, maybe even just a smile made a difference.
It's a powerful reminder that our lives were not lived in isolation. Our stories intertwine, creating a tapestry of shared experiences, of moments that shape us, challenge us, and ultimately bind us together.
But here's where I struggle a bit, of Vivan's decision to just disappear after pouring his heart out to Meera, after she helped him confront his past. Come on, man. It feels like a betrayal not just of Meera, but of the trust they were building.
His actions, while hurtful, stem from that deep-seated fear of intimacy we discussed earlier. Remember, his past is marked by loss, by the sudden and tragic death of Radha. He's built these walls around his heart, convinced that vulnerability will only lead to more pain.
I guess I get that. It's just such a tough situation, you know? He's hurting, but he's also hurting Meera in the process.
It's that age-old dilemma, right? How do we balance our own needs with the needs of those we care about? And sometimes that line gets blurry, especially when we're dealing with past trauma.
And boy, does Vivanin have some baggage to unpack there. I mean, losing Radha like that, it's no wonder he's terrified of getting close to anyone again. But still,
To just disappear on Meera like that after she opened up her heart and her life to him.
it speaks to the complexity of his character, doesn't it? Vivan isn't simply a villain in this story. He's a man grappling with grief loss and the fear of repeating past mistakes.
And what about Meera? Where does this leave her? She's been through so much already. The accident, the
Yeah.
recovery, and now this emotional roller coaster with Vivaan. It's enough to make anyone want to crawl into bed and pull the covers over their head. And yet she perseveres, doesn't she? That's the beauty of Meera's character. She refuses to be defined by the tragedies and heartbreaks that life throws her way. Instead, she channels those experiences into her writing. She finds her voice, her strength through the power of storytelling.
And it's through her writing that she ultimately finds a path forward. I mean, think about that moment when she's at her book reading. She's poured her heart and soul into this project. And who shows up? Vivan.
It's as if he's drawn back to her by the very stories she's woven together. Stories that reflect not only his own pain, but also the possibility of healing and redemption.
It's a powerful reminder that even when we feel lost and alone, our stories have the power to connect us, to bring us back to the people who matter most.
And that's the magic of everyone has a story, isn't it? It's a celebration of the human spirit. It's about finding beauty and meaning in the midst of life's inevitable chaos and heartbreak.
It makes you want to grab a coffee, pull up a chair, and just listen to the stories swirling around you.
Because you never know. The person next to you might just have the missing piece to your own story, or you might have theirs.
So true. And sometimes the most powerful stories we encounter are those that remind us that we're not alone in our struggles. That even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for healing, connection, and the chance to write a new chapter.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I think we've done our part in unpacking these excerpts from Everyone Has a Story.
It's been a pleasure diving into these characters and their journeys with you.
Likewise. Until next time, may we all find the courage to embrace our own stories and to listen with open hearts to the stories of those around us.